You're live.
Guys, welcome to DUIResults.com. Bobby, it is great to see you. Attorney Robert J. Schefter. Did I say it right?
You got it.
Man, every time, great job.
You're better than Ray.
It's good to see you. Great to have you on here. I got to tell you, I've had a great response from people in the community. I'm in a lot just of calling you first.
Great.
I got to say, it's been really good. And people are glad that you've reached out to be available.
Right.
You know, a lot of people have said how intimidating they thought it was to call an attorney.
Right.
And you've made it easy.
Yep, that's what it's all about. That's why we're trying to reach out and get you in and realize that I'll sit down with you and go over everything in nice plain terms, not all the legalese jumbled up that a lot of attorneys like to try to impress people with. So I appreciate that. So,
yeah, listen, I didn't use him. He made it easy for me. I told my wife, I said, call him. As soon as we called him, then we said, hey, it's in his hands. Let's do what we do every
just
day.
a ticket, though. Not
DUI. No, DUI. No.
So happy to help out.
Yeah, thank you.
So happy, we're going to wrap up 2018. Can't believe it's the end of the year already. Had a good year, and I thought we'd talk first, as you texted me this morning. There's a new DUI law taking effect this weekend, actually. Just want to spend a minute on it because it's not going to affect the vast majority of people. It's really going after increased penalties for those subsequent offenders. So what it does, real quick, Pennsylvania, it's interesting. Pennsylvania is one of only 4 states that, as of right now, has only misdemeanors for any DUI. So it could be your 10th, 12th DUI and it's still a misdemeanor. So Pennsylvania has changed that. And actually, as a DUI defense attorney, you might not expect this, but I think it's a good thing. Because if you're getting that 4th offense DUI, it should be a felony.
Yeah.
And if it's a 3rd offense, another change in the law, if it's a 3rd offense and you're in that highest tier, that could be a felony also. And the new law also increases penalties for those DUI cases with homicides. It increases the minimum penalty from 3 to 5 years. And again, I think all of those things are very positive changes. I'm in favor of them. It gives people some clarity because as of right now, whether it's your 3rd offense or your 10th, it's the same sentence, 1 to 5 years, misdemeanor. So increasing it to a felony, I think, makes sense.
When does that start?
It starts actually this weekend. Sunday.
Okay, all right. Appropriate.
Again, just so if you hear a new DUI law, it's not going to affect a lot of people. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but just so you know, we're staying on top of the new laws. All the attorneys should know about it. But so if you hear new DUI laws, hopefully not going to affect you.
What about with the holidays coming? Can we touch on, like, people, like, first of all, don't drink and drive, get it, Uber, all this stuff. But if something ends up happening, we're going through the holiday season, people are going to parties, like, they're getting pulled over. What can you give them some advice? Yeah,
and we've covered this in previous episodes. So again, know your rights. You do not have to answer questions. You only have to respond to direct orders as far as you have to identify yourself. But other than that, you don't have to answer questions. A big thing in the holidays that I haven't mentioned in prior shows is DUI checkpoints. There are going to be a lot of checkpoints out there. And again, I'm not preaching drinking and driving. Don't do it. Uber. I'll be fine if I don't get your business. But what you need to know is if there's a checkpoint coming up and you see a sign and you can make a turn to avoid a checkpoint, that is legal. And they cannot stop you just because you made a turn leading up to a checkpoint. Now, the officers, they know that, so typically they set them up where you can't turn. There's no way to turn. But if they set it up in an area where you can make a legal turn left or right, they cannot stop you for that. But also know that they can follow you. It's perfectly fine. They can follow you all the way home. And if they think you're avoiding a checkpoint, they will follow you all the way, and there's a possibility they can then find a legitimate reason to pull you over. So that's just informational purposes.
Right. No, it's good that people are informed and don't drink and drive.
Yeah. So again, I thought real quick, we're going to start the new year off, and we're going to next year get into more instructional shows on field sobriety tests. I can't wait to get that series going where we go through each one and describe what they are, what the officers are looking for, so you know your rights. And but I thought we'd just wrap up the year with a couple interesting DUI cases I had this year, thinking back as we all do, reflecting upon the last year. So we'll get right into this one. The facts aren't that interesting, but it is interesting the way it turned out. I had a guy come in earlier this year who got charged with a DUI. He was on 83, and he had, I believe, swerved to avoid a deer, hit the center median, and his tire was going down, so he pulled off 83. A police officer, state trooper, drives by, see him sees him working on his car and approaches him, make sure he's all right, and then smells the odor of alcohol, and ultimately the guy ends up getting charged with a DUI. So he comes in my office, we're reviewing everything, I'm analyzing it, make sure the trooper did everything proper, see if there's any defenses, and providing the client information on how we're going to proceed. And he's saying, the client's saying, yeah, the trooper's a really nice guy, he was very polite to me the whole way. And he said, I thought he wasn't even going to charge me because I got this citation in the mail for careless driving. I thought, wow, great. So he paid that, and then later got the DUI charge. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. Are you saying you got charged for the same incident? You got a citation in the mail for careless driving? Yep. Did you just plead guilty and pay it? He said, yeah, I paid it right away. And then later you got the DUI? He said, yeah, it was like 3-4 weeks later. That's a no-no. You can't do that. There's a rule called compulsory joinder. The trooper's supposed to bring all the criminal charges from one episode at the same time. This trooper didn't do that. He charged careless driving first, and then he waited until, typically, wait till you get the blood test results, and then he charged the DUI. So I said, we have something here. So I tried to be transparent. I notified the trooper. I said, hey, I want to let you know at the preliminary hearing I'm going to raise this issue. So you can prepare. I let the DJ office know because they typically don't get those issues at that level. So I let everyone know, hey, I'm going to do this. Went in, and trooper's like, yeah, I checked with my supervisor. You're right. Made the motion in front of the judge to have the DUI charge dismissed, and she granted it. What's interesting is it was a new trooper. He simply didn't know. And I actually felt bad. I was like, look, you got to realize I'm representing my client. I got to do what I can. He said, I understand. It's like, I'm not upset with you. And I said, I hope you didn't get in too much trouble. He's like, no, my supervisor was great. Now I know.
You won't be doing that again.
So that's case number one. Again, the facts weren't that interesting, but an interesting result.
Well, if they called you and they went to you, if they didn't, they would have taken on stuff they didn't have to take on.
Yeah, and
that's huge.
There are certainly other attorneys who would know that and would do the same thing I did. But I guarantee you there are some who don't practice as much of the criminal law who may not have. But anyway, so that's that. Couple factual interesting cases I had this year. One was, had a gentleman come in who said I'm reading the charges here, it was a little confusing. He said he was driving, made a bad turn, got hung up on the curb, and then the vehicle wouldn't move. And so he's sitting there when the police comes, in the driver's seat, the car's revving, and it won't move. And so he says, yeah, I was driving. And then towards the end of the interview, and this is in the officer's notes, he says, well, you know what? It wasn't me that was driving. It was my daughter who was in the vehicle. So the officer's like, okay. So we charged him with the DUI anyway. And then he went and got the video. There was a video from Rudders that actually showed who was driving at the time of the accident. And it was actually his daughter who was driving. He was trying to take the hit because his daughter was 15. She didn't have her license. He was trying to teach her how to drive. The bad part is Dad had been drinking before he took his daughter out and let her drive, which doesn't make sense. He shouldn't have done that. So, officer realizes that, but still charges my guy with the DUI because he was behind the wheel and the engine was running. Okay? So, Pennsylvania's DUI law, you can get a DUI. They don't have to prove that you were actually driving. They have to prove that you were in actual physical control of the movement of a vehicle, even if that vehicle is not moving. So what the officer's rationale there was, hey, I know he wasn't moving and he wasn't driving before the accident, but the act of him sitting behind the wheel while the engine is running is a DUI. I disagreed. So I took it to the preliminary hearing level, and where the district justice decides initially if there's enough to move the case forward. Unfortunately for me, the district justice in this case said, you know what, I get your argument, it's a good argument, but you'll have to deal with that down the road. For my purposes, there's enough to move it forward. So we get down to the next level, I file a motion, pretrial motion in front of the judge to say this charge is invalid. And the district attorney, to his credit, he reviewed the case, he said, no, this isn't a DUI. So he agreed voluntarily to dismiss that DUI charge. So there's a factually interesting case where now I had to prove that car could not be moved. The axle was broken. All right. So if you can prove that the vehicle was incapable of moving, then you might be able to get a dismissal. But there are tons of cases, if you're sitting behind the wheel, even if you're not moving, say you pulled off to sleep or whatever, and the engine's running, you can get a DUI. But here's an interesting circumstance where we could show the vehicle could not move at all, and the charges were dismissed.
Wow. That's why you call. I mean, that's why I tell you, you're just in this tunnel vision of the end. Mm-hmm. So I think people think, oh my God, and they don't understand, but you do this every day. You know all the different ins and outs. That's why I always tell people, call, go to DUIResults.com. He's right on Facebook. Yeah. Check him out. Message him on Facebook. The phone number's there. Call ahead of time. As soon as you get a charge, a ticket, call.
Yeah, and even before that, Shane, I have people calling now, which I think is great, who even before they get the charges, you get pulled over, you get arrested for a DUI, you're likely not going to get the charges for several weeks. But I can't tell you how many times people call me right away. I'll meet with them on a Monday, and they just got charged Saturday night, and they are completely stressed out. Oh my gosh, I saw on TV or on the internet, I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to lose everything, and I can't tell you how many times people just leave and they're like, I'm so glad I came in and talked to you. Even before you get the charges, you can come. Obviously you get the charges, come back in, and that's when we'll move forward. But just to know, hey, okay, first offense. I'll analyze the case and say you may be eligible for ARD, and you may ultimately not even be convicted, and the license suspension is going to be a lot less, and you're not going to go to jail. Just for that peace of mind. Yeah. So even before you get the charges, that's why I think it's important to keep getting out there, and so people know as soon as you get something.
What about moving violations, tickets, or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I focus on the DUI because that's a lot more interesting, a lot more technical. But any type of moving violation, if it's a speeding ticket, things that are still of importance to you. You want to watch your points because they can mount up and you can get suspended. Yeah, any type of moving violation. And any type of criminal charges, and I'll let you know if I can handle it or not. And if I don't, I will certainly pass you on to a.
So I can't win the ticket at the stop. Like that's not the place to try to win.
No,
that's you've been doing this. But so many people want to be street lawyers, right? Like I see it. They want to be out there, and I've learned just call. It relieves it. Yeah. And in the long run, your savings of your insurance savings, is huge.
Yeah, so when you get that speeding ticket, not always, but they're typically, the officer is willing to do something. Not always. Some of them are very strict, but you typically can save yourself some points, save yourself some money. Insurance costs if you.
How long have you been doing this?
22 years now.
So you've been in this community, and local is important because you're experienced, you're local, you're reliable. Those are all things that people look for. Hardworking people are coming to you that work every day.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm from Southern New York County, strong work ethic, and blue collar community. So that's why I really like doing this type of law. Regular people. Unfortunately, if you get out and made a mistake or didn't end up getting charges, I can relate to my York County people.
Because I know people have said they were Ubering to go to work, and that's $20 each way or $40. That's not going to go far. Right. And they said, listen, I'm glad I called them.
Yeah.
Someone asked if there's an initial consultation. Is there a charge for that?
No, not currently.
Okay.
No, not, and I'll keep that. I mean, I get so busy sometimes. I consider, because I know a lot of attorneys do charge for an initial consultation, but mine's still free. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. One final story I have from 2018. This one was interesting. I had a guy come in, and he wasn't driving. Okay, that's clear, undisputed. His girlfriend was driving because he had been drinking, and he had a prior DUI. So he's doing the smart thing. So she gets pulled over. Maybe she wasn't doing the smart thing because they suspected her for DUI. So they get her out of the car. They're doing field sobriety testing. My guy gets out of the car, and then gets back in the car and actually starts the vehicle while his girlfriend is getting field sobriety tests. He said, I wasn't going to take off. I was just charging my phone because he wanted to video what they were doing, which is cool. But so he starts the car up. These troopers come running up, yank him out of the car, and end up arresting him for a DUI and for, I believe it was resisting arrest or disorderly conduct or something, because he didn't comply initially with their commands. So we're talking about this, and I'm like, I don't know that I can help you or get you out of this, because just the mere fact of you starting that vehicle, as we discussed earlier, you're in actual physical control of the movement of that vehicle. So, that's really all I got to show. And then he says this, and this was not in the police report anywhere. Then he says, but it just doesn't make sense because I was in the passenger seat. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I was in the passenger seat. I got out of the car, and then I got back in, but I got back in the passenger seat. How can I get a DUI when I'm sitting in the passenger seat? Well, I'm thinking, well, now we got something to go after. You didn't say that before, and of course the police don't put that in the report. So we go to preliminary hearing, and the trooper testifies and goes through all this thing about how my client was being difficult. He was in control of the movement of the vehicle, and they never mentioned it in the passenger seat. So I questioned the trooper about it, and then of course bring it out. District Justice is like, okay. So then I make a motion when they're done to have the DUI dismissed, because I say, I understand he started the vehicle, but he's in the passenger seat. He's not in control of the movement of the vehicle. And the District Justice agreed and dismissed the charges. So that was one where, as the story goes on, you learn more and more, and then you get that last, not minor detail, but a big detail.
Yeah.
He was in the passenger seat. But through my research, it's interesting to know you can get a DUI if you're a passenger in a vehicle. In this one case, the person was a passenger but got into some argument with the driver and actually grabbed the wheel. And you grab the wheel, you're in control of that vehicle, even though you're in the passenger seat. Or even the back seat. There's a case, someone in the back seat reaches up and somehow interferes with the movement of the vehicle.
And I watch different shows, and you see where they have states where I guess it's the people have to see somebody driving the vehicle, physically driving it. But in this case, it's not that way.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And a lot of people ask that, hey, the officer never saw me driving. Well, they have to prove that you were driving or in control of the vehicle, but they don't have to see it. Last time they use circumstantial evidence. So they didn't see you driving, but there's a tree and your vehicle is wrecked into the tree. You're standing outside the vehicle, but you got blood on your head. The vehicle's registered to you. No one else is around. They can prove that you were driving even though no one saw you driving. But that's, there's a good question. People come in and say, hey, no one saw me driving. And, I'll investigate and analyze it, but they don't necessarily have to. So anyway,
so do they call you? Let's say someone, this happens over the holiday season, God forbid, they don't take the advice, and they're in Central or whatever they call that, the
Central booking.
Do they call you then?
I haven't got calls typically, not always, but they're going to take your phone while they're booking you and going through the whole process. So typically you can't call while you're in, but then they give you everything back, and you can give me a call.
Go to Facebook, go on your app, and hit Bobby up so he can get you to relax and get out and get out of minimize your effects of what you've done, really.
Right.
I mean, you minimize it. And I mean, these stories are great examples. If these people didn't call Bobby, they would have just assumed everything was the way it was. I mean, those are amazing stories.
Yeah, those are interesting stories. Most of the DUIs, look, I got to be honest, most of the time, if you get pulled over and they can prove you're driving and you're over the limit, most of the time it's trying to help you get through the process with as little damage as possible, and just advising you on what to expect and guiding you through the process. But once in a while we get cases like that, these interesting ones that are kind of on the fringe where we can get a dismissal, and those are just a couple from this past year.
How do they contact you, Bobby?
You can contact me by going on Facebook, the DUI results, or the office number, 717-747-9048. The other thing I do that I don't know that all attorneys do is I put my cell phone number out there. It's 717-578-0205. That's on the website. That's on my cards. So, I put my personal cell phone out there for you. Call, text, go online, any way you need to get a hold of me.
And what areas do you work in? York County specifically, just York County?
Do York County, a little bit in Adams County. York Counny, I focus on that because I've just been doing it so long.
And that's important, right, to be local.
Right.
You would tell anyone that work that you're local.
Yes, each county has their own practice. Let's be honest, the DUI law is statewide, but each county, like for example ARD, they have their own ARD program. They set their own rules and that sort of thing. So Familiarity with the local practice is extremely important.
Excellent, excellent. Well, listen, make sure you share this out, please, because you might have a friend. It's the holidays. They make a mistake, right? We're not here. This is a no judgment zone. This is a place where you can get your fix done, get your Band-Aid, get back on the road with minimizing financial and other effects to you. But if you don't share it, then your friends and your family won't know that there's an option right on their phone, because social commerce, 57% of people are purchasing and doing business through Facebook and through social media. So please do that favor. Happy holidays, Merry Quick Christmas, and we want to thank you again for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Steve. Happy holidays to you, brother.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
see
that.
ya.